familiar. Might be worth a second look. Wrapping up dope in a paper bag, talking to yourself, taking a drag. Who you kidding with what you say? Doesn't matter, you'll never hear it anyway. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Bandit by Neil Young from the Greendale album. Incredible song, beautiful, like the texture of it is incredible, the story's great. Greendale's actually one of my favourite Neil Young albums. I first heard it live at the Hammersmith Apollo in London before I'd even heard the album, and it's really grown on me, the whole record, the concept of it, the film as well, a little bit kind of an art film, I guess, but it you know, powerful stories and all of that sort of stuff, what we expect from Neil. The tuning in this song is pretty interesting. It's kind of like a double drop D tuning, but in B flat. So we've tuned down a lot, okay? So our low E has gone all of the way down to a B flat. So that tuning again, B flat, really super low, F, B flat again, E flat, G, and B flat. You can expect the neck to move a little bit. When you detune that much, the neck is likely to kind of come back towards you just a little bit, which will make the strings slightly closer to the frets. Might give you a little bit more rattle, which in some parts of this song works really well. You just have to be a little bit aware that you've tuned down so low. So if you hit the strings too hard or you press down too hard, you can muddle with the tuning. So you have to be a little bit more delicate when the strings are this floppy, but I think it works lovely in this song. The actual chord changes are not particularly difficult. The hardest part I found for me was getting the strumming feeling nice, like not digging in too much, but digging in enough. And there's a little flick off bit in the transition in the chord movement in the verses, which is a little tricky. It's not that hard once you get it. It took a little while for me to figure out how he was doing it, to be honest. I'd heard the song a lot and not tried to work it out, and then it just grabbed me the other day, like I need to do this song. And it did take a little bit of fiddling around to try and get the tuning, and then I did find a couple of live videos, so I'm fairly certain that what I'm showing you is the correct Neil Young approach to playing the song. So let's start by going through the chords one at a time, then I'll go into a little bit more detail about the transitions, and then we'll look at the finger picking, which is probably the hardest part. The first chord that we've got to get down is this beautiful B flat chord. It's, I guess, a D chord. You could look at it as being like a D with an F sharp bass. That would be a kind of a traditional approach for playing this, but very sure Neil is playing it like this. So first finger is barring the thinnest 3 strings at the 2nd fret. Second finger goes down in the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and third finger goes down on the 4th fret of the 4th string. In fact, first finger is probably covering the thinnest 4 strings for a reason that you'll see in just a second as we transition. So this is the chord, open, open, 4th fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. What a chord. We've got this lovely movement. So we're going actually from the D, I'm calling it a D, it would be a D in regular tuning. And second and third fingers flick off, which would be then an A chord in regular tuning, like an A shape. First finger barring the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings. Actually, you can bar the thinnest string as well because of the drop effect. The tuning, that would be an A, and then that's flicking off as well. And then we're using 2nd finger and 3rd finger on the 5th fret, thickest 2 strings. All of the rest of the strings are open. I mean, they're just such beautiful grips in this song. It's just amazing. I don't know why they're not more commonly used. So we've got the D, A, and the G. There is one other chord shape that's used in the other chorus, the bridge. Not sure exactly what to call it. The bit where he sings really high, where it sings the same as the other chorus. For those chords, I'm going to go through that separately because it is a very different section. I think a better place to start would be the main rhythm on that first chord. It's so iconic, and I think once you get your fingers around that learning the transitions and then the flow between the different chord shapes will probably make a little bit more sense. So let's get into that. that's the rhythm pattern. This is not a super easy pattern to get down. If you just listen to it a lot and understand the technique, you'll probably get it, but I'm going to try and explain it to you with all of the counting and that sort of stuff as well. Hopefully the combination of the understanding and a lot of listening will get it under your fingers. The key thing, I think, with nearly all Neil Young stuff is the continuous movement of the hand. So his strumming hand moves all the time, even when he's playing out things that are a little bit more complicated, picking out individual notes. His hand, generally speaking, not of course all the time, but nearly all the time, is moving with the rhythm. And even if he only plays like one note, his hand will often still be moving even though he's not strumming anything. I think that's a real key element to his style. So let me explain the rhythm first of all, what's going on. Beat 1, he's just playing one note with his thumb, but all of the rest of it is strummed with the fingers. Mostly the first finger, but sometimes the second finger might touch. Looks like his hand is just sort of sitting like that and it's moving as one, but it's mostly the first finger that's going to be strumming the notes individually, except for this bass note on the beat, which is going to be played with the thumb. While we talk about that note, if you strum too hard, it makes the note go out of tune and you'll get too much rattle. If you hit it too softly, you don't get the depth of the note, you don't get any rattle. So you probably want to experiment a little bit with, there it is, too much, too little. There we go, it's about a little on the right side, there we go. So a little bit of practice, just trying to get the right amount of like where you pick it matters as well. If you go right back here, you don't tend to get the rattle. If you go here, you get too much rattle. So it's positioning of the hand and how hard you pick it and the direction that you pick it in. They're all like slight variables. You need to find the way that you feel connected with the guitar and then experiment within that, because none of us will be able to play it exactly the same as Neil does. So we've got to find our own way of interpreting that stuff. But getting a little bit of the rattle in there is real sweet. Now, the actual pattern, if I just play it with, I'm just going to mute all of the strings here. First of all, we have this 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a. So 1, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. Thumb, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E, a 4 E and a. Even slower. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now practicing like that is a little bit uninspiring, maybe, just to be playing clicked notes, but if you want to get really into the rhythm and understand what's going on, you'll probably find it quite helpful to do a little bit of practice like that. I always think that just listening and doing is a better approach than thinking about it. I think it gets accredited to Neil, but I think it might have been his manager that said the more you think, the more you stink. And definitely when you're playing Neil songs, for me, it's about digesting all of that, the sound, and then getting lost in it rather than trying to think about it too much. And getting the right feeling for it is much more important than getting the technical stuff right anyway. But if I'm learning Neil, I want to do it justice and I want to try and nail it down as best I can. So I tend to favor the going through the thinking about it a lot first and really getting it down and then being able to let myself kind of fall into it. And I'm confident that I can already swim rather than just jumping in and both feet first and not really knowing what I'm doing. So it depends a little bit on your character type and how you like to learn. But I think that would be a good approach. Let's put that into practice now with that first voicing, and I'll just do it real slow a couple of times. So 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 E. definitely recommend having a little bit of time just working on that one groove and trying to make it feel nice, getting used to the feeling of the slacker strings, how it feels under the fingers, trying to make sure that you keep your hand moving. All of those essential elements you should try and get under your fingers before you take it any further. Now, the transition happens in this song is kind of interesting. It's probably one of the key things in the whole tune, the way this works, is going from this D and then strum, flicking off the second and third fingers, then strum again, flicking off the first finger, and then that chord going down. And this is happening on beat 1. It makes it feel a little bit odd, the fact that those transitions aren't happening. This kind of feels like it wants to come on 1, but it isn't. And by 1, I'm talking about the beat 1 now. So we end up with this 1 here, 2, 3 here. Coming up here. Now, I've got to admit, with this particular rhythm, I can count it out. I find it quite challenging to count out the rhythm while I'm playing it. And I think that this is going to be best learnt by listening to it a lot. I'm going to explain it to you, what's going on. Because like I said, I think understanding as well as the listening is the easiest way to digest something. But if you don't do the listening, it's going to be really, really difficult. So do spend some time just listening to the song, getting used to the feeling of it, and then understanding this. That's really the key thing, is down strum, off. So you actually play it, it's an up first, down, flick, down, flick, down, down. 3, 4 and a 1, 3, 4 and a 1 and 2, 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 3, 4. Just notice I'm doing 1 with the thumb actually. Just before beat 2, so the and after 1. Down, flick, thumb, then the fingers. And then 4E and up. There's a little hammer on with the A chord. Down, hammer, down, up. We've also got that little hammer on with the thickest chord. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and a. That really is a real brain game trying to get that count. 1. That's the key thing, is practicing that groove. It is going to take some practice. It took me some practice to get the feeling of it, but listening is going to be the key thing. I've said it before hundreds of times in many, many lessons, but particularly this one. just because the count is so awkward, trying to work out the maths of it is weird, difficult. So it's so difficult to do the thinking part that the listening part's definitely going to win. The key things to know, the knowing part, is the 4 E and a 1 E and 2. That's the bit where, if you're familiar with the idea that the chord change is just happening after 4, so it's going to be 4 E and a 1 E and 2. So from beat 4, we've been playing the rest of the song. We've just been hanging around on this D shape, which is actually a B flat, but we're calling it D. After beat 4, we've got 4 E and a 1 E and 2. So that big hit afterwards after the change to the G chord here, this one to the G, that's falling on beat 2. That's probably as much help as I can be, which might not be enough. If you're really struggling here, let me know in the comments. I'll see if I can do an addendum for this lesson to try and help, because I do get that this is a tricky part. I'm hoping that most of the people learning this are big Neil fans and familiar already with the song, and they're prepared to put that work in, because that's the tune. Once you've got that, now, I don't think Neil does the rhythm exactly the same all of the way through every time he plays it live. I certainly don't. I found that pretty challenging. I did try to do it, but what I think happened is I tried to do it right. When I sang, it didn't quite go like that, but it ended up sounding quite like the way it happened with Neil, the way he plays it. So I think if you nail that first rhythm section and you've got it right, when you go to sing it and play it at the same time, you'll probably find that it just kind of falls nicely. So as soon as you have turn the page, this old book seems familiar, might be worth a second look, wrapping up dope in a paper bag, talking to yourself, taking a drag. Who are you kidding with what you say? Doesn't matter, you'll never hear it anyway. There's like some extra strums going in there, building in little sections, laying it back a little bit, trying to get in touch a little bit with the dynamics, where you're playing it louder, where you're playing it softer. As I mentioned already, you don't want to play this too hard, definitely in this tuning, because it'll make the strings sound out of tune. You can't press hard, you have to be quite delicate with it. And if you're doing this kind of style, you don't want to have to sing too loud, because that will make it sound weird, because it's a very talky, low-key thing. So it's finding that balance where you're playing soft enough to be heard as well. So there's lots of things kind of balancing out here, so more subtle things, which I think make it kind of fun and nice. But they're the challenges that you're going to face beyond the actual, here's the chords, I can do the chords, there's the transition with those flick-offs, which is a little bit technical. Beyond that, it becomes just this exercise in dynamics and listening and feeling the instrument and getting in touch with it all, and then losing yourself in the moment. There's other levels to explore here, which I think are important and good things to check out. Now, that one other section I wanted to mention is the everything you're looking for. Someday you'll find everything you're looking for. Yeah, so beautiful. He's just using this really interesting shape. It's hard to hear what's going on. It sounds like there might be another instrument getting involved with the kind of lower end of the chords, either another guitar or maybe it's an organ or something, but there's something kind of covering the harmonic movement in the lower end. I think it's Neil's part is just playing the thinnest 4 strings, at least that's what he appears to be doing live. I did experiment with putting a bass note down here as well. It just didn't sound right. It doesn't look like it's the way Neil's doing it. So let me take you through the idea. So first finger is in the 5th fret of the 2nd string, 3rd finger is in the 7th fret of the 4th string. Like I said, we're just playing the thinnest 4 strings, really interesting clashes harmonically. Then that moves up 2 frets. Now it moves up, so first finger's in the 10th fret. Then back to the first one with first finger in the 5th fret. Then 3rd fret. Second time round, first finger's in the 5th fret. Then the 7th fret. Then the 8th fret. Then the 3rd fret. So again, Sunday, 7th fret for the first finger, 10th fret. Everything you're looking, 5th, 3rd, second time, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. Everything you're looking, 3rd fret. Now, there's another thing that I hear on the record. It sounds weird to me when I try and do it. And it seems like Neil does it live. I'm not sure exactly why I'm not making it work. But it sounds to me like in the first time around, he's stepping with the lyric line. So he's going 5th fret, 7th fret, here 10th, everything you're looking for. This is a little... where he's just doing 8th fret, 7th fret, 5th. There, let me just play it without any of the singing. So, second time round. Now the rhythm for that little section is fairly consistent, but again there are other elements. It does sound to me like there's another instrument kind of picking the... It doesn't look like that's what he's doing live. That's what it sounds like on the record. A really good pattern would be 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And I'm just strumming with my first finger. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 E. Love going back to those low notes. It sounds so rich and so nice when it's like singing into a beautiful armchair. It's like, so I have to explore this low tuning stuff a little bit more. It's amazing. Anyway, I really hope you enjoy playing this song. It really is a cracker. If you're not familiar with the Greendale album, I would recommend a listen to it and or a watch of the film. Really makes things into a different perspective for me when I saw the film. Like I said, I came from live, then the album, then the film. And I totally love it. I hope you will as well. I've got loads of Neil Young lessons. I am a huge fan. I do really like pulling it apart and trying to get into how he's doing things exactly. So if you're a Neil Young fan, then you might want to go and check out all the lessons I've got over on my site. There'll be a link in the description if you're over on YouTube. If you're there, I really appreciate you slapping the like button, hitting the subscribe button and the bell if you want to get notified when I've got a new lesson or I'm doing transcribing. There's very likely to be me transcribing Neil Young songs live because that's something that happens fairly frequently. So if you want to see how I'm working out the songs as well, you might find that an interesting part of the journey as well. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You'll take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Pages, this whole book seems familiar. Might be worth a second look. Wrapping up dope in a paper bag, talking to yourself, taking a drag. Who you kidding with what you say? Doesn't matter, you'll never hear it anyway. Gotta get past the negative things. Lawyers and business, you get what you bring. No one's sorry you did it yourself. It's time to relax now and then give it hell. Someday you'll find what you're looking for. Someday find what you're looking for. You didn't bet on the Dodgers to beat the Giants. David came up. Now you gotta pay. Didn't count on that. Geez, half the money's gone and the month is still young. Where are you gonna go now? Things are closing in. You gotta trust someone. Someone you trust. Gotta be careful. Can't go to your brother. Money's all gone. Can't go to your friends. Someday you'll find find everything you're looking for. Someday you'll find everything you're looking for. Someday you'll find everything you're looking for. Yeah. Made out like a bandit for so many years. What are you working for? One more big score? What are you trying to prove? Try to get closer, but not too close. Try to get through, but not be through. No one can touch you now. I can touch you now. You're invisible. Got too many secrets. Bob Dylan said that. Something like that. Someday you'll find everything you're looking for. Someday you'll find everything you're looking for. Everything you're looking for. Someday you'll find everything you're looking for. Yeah.